Hi and welcome to another Lure Fishing for Wrasse UK video. Well, as you can see today, it is all about split ring pliers and the different sorts. So I'll go through each one of them and tell you pros and cons, what I feel about them, and how we go from there. So first of all, let's have a look at these ones. These are the Rapala extra large split ring pliers. You can see that's how they open the split ring like that. Now I'll use this whacking great big hook here to give you an idea. So the bottom jaw, they're sprung loaded, as you can see. The bottom jaw goes in there and the top one opens the split ring, and then we try and right now that straight away is the problem with this type of split ring plier. You see how the jaws have managed to get inside each other? Let me just turn it over, try and keep them in the same place. See how the jaws force themselves out like that? Which obviously is something that you don't want. Something I don't like. The only reason why I haven't thrown these pliers away is because I knew I was going to make this video, and I thought, right, okay, I'll show people what the problem is. Anyway, these are my findings. So yeah, the Rapala ones, they can open big split rings. You know, that's a massive one. So they can open big split rings quite easily like that. But you know, the fact that they bend like that, I don't like. So let's see if we can do it again. Here we go. So there, and as if we were going to pull on the hook. Okay, this time they're not doing it, but the one time they're doing it is enough, I feel. It means that they're not really doing the job as well as I'd like them to. Let's try and put the hook back on using it. Yep, see, they've done it again. Yeah, not impressed with that. So yeah, pain in the arse basically. Let's just see if we can get the hook on there. So yep, you can guess where those are going to go. Not in a good place. Next ones we have are the Halco ones. Now Halco make their split ring pliers only in one size, but they make them out of tool steel, and tool stainless steel at that. So they are very, very tough. The steel's very, very hard, and you can see just by the shape of the jaws, they're made in such a way that you shouldn't have any problems with them. Now we'll use something a little bit more realistic for this. We'll take this one off now. If I hold the jaws up there, you can see how these jaws actually work. And then when you squeeze down, it opens the split ring. And there we go, nice and easy. Now, as Halco make anything from tiny lures to massive lures, you'll see they've got their own YouTube channel where they're putting split rings on a lure that big, and then split rings on a lure that's about that big. It's huge. Excuse me. And they're using the same pliers for it. So good for them. I personally feel it'd be nice if they made these in two sizes, this size and then a larger size. The only thing I do find against these, because the jaws are rounded here, sometimes they don't grip the actual ring itself, and you've got to squeeze really, really tight just to actually get it to turn. But apart from that, they're good pliers. As you can see, they're sprung as well. Quite small, quite lightweight. They're drilled as well, so you can put a lanyard in there. The next ones we'll come on to are sort of combination pliers. Now, this is the first pair. These are an Aliexpress job. That's probably the best way of describing them, a job. They were cheap, and cheap generally is crap. They do have a braid cutter, which doesn't cut braid very well. They've got a serrated jaw at the end, and obviously the split ring plier at the end too. So let's see. So these work from the jaw point of view and opening the ring in a similar principle to the Rapala ones. So yet again, I can get it off there. It's nice that they've got that serrated jaw at the end there. It helps grip the split ring. So there we go, so that's off. Let's just put it back on. So yet again, get it lined up. So yeah, not bad. They were cheap. You can see here they're going rusty already. I look after my gear. My gear always gets rinsed in fresh water after I've used it in the sea. Then it gets air dried. So yeah, they've gone rusty. So not that impressed with those. Coming up to the next ones. So these are made by IMA. Same people that make the lure. They've got IMA stamped on them, but actually they're made by Kahara. Kahara make a lot of different pliers for different manufacturers in Asia somewhere. Don't quite know where. Doesn't really matter. So they're sprung, which is nice. They've got lovely rubber handles, so they're nice and tactile. Good for grabbing hold of. They've got a braid cutter there. Then they've got their tungsten jaws, various crimping jaws, and then at the very end we've got our split ring plier. The problem with these, as you can see, hopefully if I do it like that, you can see the jaws aren't lined up. They end up getting a bit of wear in them. Now with a bit of pushing about you can reposition them, but I can feel that there's movement in them already. So as you can see like that, and that's as square lined up as I can get for the camera. If they have any amount of force on them, so let's use the huge one as an example. When you're doing that and you're putting the force on, you can see them twisting there like that. Okay, so yes, this is a huge split ring. Use something a little bit more realistic. They open them nicely. They work well because they've got serrations at the end there. I'm just going to put the ring back on while I'm taking it all off. So they have their plus points. To be honest, I use this as a general pair of fishing pliers. I don't use them as specific split ring pliers. You can get them relatively cheap. You can get them very expensive. I think the expensive version of this is like over 50 quid, but you can find various other places where they're substantially cheaper. Nice for fishing, not necessarily good if you're putting on a lot of split rings. I think the main issue is the fact that this is aluminium, that's some form of steel. You get a soft metal, hard metal, and there's a lot of force in it, and eventually it will move. I can feel that top jaw was at the bottom one. One of these two jaws is moving. Anyway, excuse me. So coming on now to specific split ring pliers. These ones, similar to the Halco ones, this is all they do. Don't do anything else. They come in two different sizes. They are made by Texas Instruments. They're made in Pakistan, out of stainless steel. They used to be, this one used to be able to get this in like a blackened version, which felt a bit cheap. But to be honest, these ones are much better. You can look at how the box joint is. You know, if you're looking into quality precision engineering, yeah, it's not brilliant. Let's see how that is. But they do the job very, very well. So going on to them, so we use the large ones to this massive split ring. So these open like that. So as you can see, that comes off nice and easily. Same principle for putting it back on. So I'm going to spike myself. I'm going to use my top there. There we go. Sometimes they don't grip brilliantly. It would be, if I was going to make these perfect or better, I'd like to have some serrations in there or on there. That would just help grip the actual split ring better. These smaller ones, these are great. I love these ones. These are sort of a first time they do it exactly as you want them to do. Don't ever bother using your fingernails. Yeah, you can use your fingernails, but one day you're going to slip in the split ring and go up underneath your fingernail. Boy, will you know that when that happens, because it really hurts. They go back on nice and easily. Sometimes you can use the big ones to get in smaller rings. If I use something like this, can I get in there? They're so blooming small. Yeah, like that. Then that wasn't actually turning the ring. It is eventually. So yeah, I could use those. To be honest, these ones would be better. Just a better split ring. So the only thing I've got against the Texas ones are that the handles are just push-on handles. And being as they're push-on, when I first got them, I had to do a little bit of gluing just to super glue them back on, to glue them back into place. Obviously, this video doesn't cover things like GT pliers, you know, where you're using really, really super tough 300-pound plus split rings. And then there's things on the market like the HPA pliers, but in the UK, the HPA pliers, they retail around 80 to 90 quid, which is a horrendous amount of money for a pair of pliers that literally do one job. They only open split rings. There's various other ones on the market. I've tried a Fritchie version of the AMA ones, and they had exactly the same problem with the jaws. I found, I'm not saying they all do it, but I found that the jaws wouldn't line up, and they were a bit like that after a while. So they got returned. So if you like the video, please do give me a nice thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you've got any comments, please do leave them below. Thanks a lot. Bye now.